Next topic we need to talk about are inequalities. Unlike equations, where we're trying to find things that are equal or a number or a value that will make something equal, an inequality occurs when two values are not equal to each other, but still have some type of relationship. And there are symbols that are going to show a relationship. Just like an equal symbol shows that things are equal, we're going to have symbols that show a different type of relationship between two values. For example, 3 and 10. Well, 3 and 10 are not equal, so we need some other type of symbol to go in there to show us what the relationship between 3 and 10 is. 3 is obviously smaller than 10, so we're going to use a symbol called a less than symbol. And we're going to go over all these symbols for inequalities. Here are all the symbols for these inequalities. We've got a less than symbol, we've got a greater than symbol, we've got a less than or equal to symbol. That means the value needs to be less than or it could be equal. And we have a symbol for greater than or equal to. Now these symbols are going to be put in between values, and you need to determine usually whether or not by putting that symbol in between those values it's a true statement or it's going to be a false statement. But these symbols are used to show a different type of relationship besides things just being equal. So we're going to look at this example right here. This example says, is 3 an answer to the following? Well, let's look and see. If I take 3 and put it in this spot right here, and I read it according to those symbols up there, it would say 3 is less than 5. So by putting 3 in this variable right here, then yes, that's going to be a true statement. Try the next one. Let's put 3 in this spot right here and see if we've got a true statement. So I'm going to take 3, put it right there. That is a greater than symbol. 3 is greater than 5. So sometimes these statements are true. Sometimes these statements are false. You put the symbol in there, read it, and determine whether or not it's true or false, whether or not this number is working or not working. Let's look at the next one. I need to put this 3 in that spot. It says 3 is less than 3. I need to determine if that statement is true or if that statement is false. Well, 3 is not less than 3. That's false. Or they could give you one that looks like this. We're going to take this 3, we're going to put it in this spot right here. 3 is less than or equal to 3. So for this statement to be true, it has to be less than or equal to. It's not less than, but it is equal to. So when you have that type of symbol, that's going to make that statement true. What they're going to do next is they're going to give you problems that may involve using the order of operations to determine whether or not the statement is true or false. You simply take the number, the value that they're giving you, you plug it in, and you follow your order of operations. We're going to determine whether or not 3 is the answer to this. Because a lot of times with inequalities, you have a bunch of numbers that could be answers. And we're going to see whether or not 3 is an answer. So we're going to rewrite the problem. The relationship between this -2 and this 3 is multiplying. And now I need to follow my order of operations. There's nothing to do on this side, so I bring the 11 down, bring down my inequality symbol. I need to multiply before I add or subtract. Multiply these two together, I get -6. I take that -6, add 8 to it, I get 2. Now, just like the other ones, I read this and see whether or not it's going to be a true statement or not. 11 is greater than or equal to 2. Yes, that's true. What is true? For this one, they're trying to determine whether or not 3 is an answer for what's in red right here. After you do your math, you can determine, yes, 3 is an answer to this. So you would write true, or you could write yes, it is. Just like there are rules with equations, there are rules or things we need to remember about inequalities. And one of the things that you need to remember about an inequality, especially when they start putting variables in these, is that the variable needs to be on the left side. This side over here is the right side, and this over here is the left side. You don't want variables over here on this side when you've got an inequality. You want the variable to be on the left side. So how do you get it on the left side? If the variable is on the right side of an inequality, then you need to flip the inequality. You need to take whatever's on the left side, put it on the right, what's on the right, put it on the left. You need to flip the entire thing around. And you don't do this with all of them. You only do it when the variable is not on the left side. So we'll look at some examples here. This first example, x is less than 5. Do I need to flip this one around? No. The variable is on the side it's supposed to be on. The next example, -5 is greater than or equal to x. You know what? This is one of the ones that needs to be flipped around. The way I do that is I take the x, move it over here to this side, -5, move it to the other side. So I want to go x, and then when I do this flip, this inequality symbol gets flipped as well. Instead of it saying greater than or equal to, less than or equal to -5. This keeps the inequality true because I'm looking for things that are less than or equal to -5. Something that's less than or equal to -5 is -6. -6 will work in this spot. -5 is greater than or equal to -6. That works as well. Only when you flip this around and this inequality symbol gets flipped around will this inequality still remain true. Does this one right here need to be flipped around? No, the variable is on the side it's supposed to be on. Does this one need to be flipped around? Yes, the variable is not on the side it's supposed to be on. So when I see one that looks like this with the variable on the wrong side, I need to flip it around. I take the x, put it over here on this side, take the inequality symbol, switch it, put the -12 on the other side. When you put these in what would be standard form, you're going to make sure that you get the correct answers, that you're graphing these correctly. The second thing you need to remember about these inequalities. Inequalities are usually graphed. So we need to go over the rules for graphing these inequalities. When you graph an inequality, what you're doing is you're basically creating or drawing a picture of all your answers. When you graph one of these inequalities, you're going to graph it on a number line. And on that number line, you're going to shade where all the answers are. A number line represents all the numbers, and you're going to shade the part of the graph that represents where the answers are. So to do that, we need to look at these symbols right here. These symbols, less than, greater than, you are going to put an open circle on the number because the number is not an answer. You're not shading that in. But when you have the less than or equal to and the greater than or equal to symbols, you're going to put a closed circle because that number is an answer. So you're going to graph these on a number line. You're going to put the number in the middle. You're going to put an open or closed circle. An open circle meaning that number is not the answer. A closed circle, which is shaded, meaning it is an answer. We're going to look at two examples. And we're going to graph these examples. Example number 1. I need to graph this inequality, so the very first thing I need to do is draw a number line. Guess what number goes right in the middle of your number line? This number right here. Whatever that number is goes right in the middle because that's your most important number. Numbers over here on this side are always bigger. So what's bigger than 2? 3. Then I'll look for smaller numbers over here on this side. Smaller than 2, 1. Now that I got my number line ready, I'm going to start shading where my answers are. This arrow right here is telling me all numbers bigger than 3. This arrow over here is telling me all numbers less than 1. I'll look at this symbol right here. This is a less than symbol. That means I'm going to put an open circle. That means 2 is not one of my answers, but I need to shade or show everybody that all my answers are less than 2. So I'm going to be shading in this direction right here. That shows me that all my numbers less than 2 are answers. Next example. At the very beginning, I see something I need to do. The variable is not on the side it's supposed to be on. I need to flip this around. If I don't flip this around and I try to graph it the way it is, I'm going to be shading in the wrong direction. So this x goes over here on this side. Take the inequality symbol, switch it around, and put -5 right over here. When I graph these things, I graph it on a number line. So draw my number line, and guess what number goes in the middle of the number line? This one right here, -5. Numbers over here on this side are bigger. What's bigger than -5? -4 is bigger. Negative numbers are just the opposite of positive numbers, so the number line is going to look a little different. What is less than -5? -6. Then I need to see if I need to put an open circle or a closed circle. I look at my symbol, I put a closed circle because what it's telling me is -5 is an answer. And I need to graph everything that's greater than -5. That would be all the numbers in this direction right here. All those numbers are greater than -5.